Hi ladies and gentlemen, so I'm really happy to be back. We definitely chat at the end of the video about why I've been gone for so long, but I think we should just get right into the topic of the video. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to insult people in Spanish. Now, I don't advocate for the use of really any of these insults, which is a complete contradiction to me literally sitting down in front of my camera and hopping on here and writing out sentences for you to use to insult people with. But you know, there are going to be some times when you hear other people maybe using these words and they think that you don't know how to speak Spanish. They think you don't understand it, and you actually do because you've watched this video. So let's get into the sentences. None of these are vulgar words. None of them are bad words as we know them, but some of them are a little bit more emotionally loaded than others. So let's get started. The first word we're going to look at is Undesirable. And of course we will do like a direct translation. I'll break down the words and we will create our sentences, and then we will break down the sentences. So this word is a direct translation of this one in English. Undesirable. Undesirable. So like in the English word, this prefix of the word, it actually negates the rest of it. So if we were to eliminate the beginning part of the word, we would be left with the opposite meaning of the word. So desirable, deseable. Repeat. Deseable. Deseable. Desirable. Desirable. Desirable is the way that we would pronounce that in Spanish. Desirable. Indeseable. Now let's create a sentence. I will say, if you only knew how undesirable you are, you would leave the party right now. And then the translation of this sentence in Spanish. Oh, with this already here. Sorry, I'm gonna start getting a sweat stash. Si solo supieras, or si solo te darías cuenta is another way we could put it. Te darías cuenta de lo indeseable que eres, te irías, I'm gonna put a tilde right there, de la fiesta ahora mismo. Let's repeat this. Si solo te darías cuenta de lo indeseable que eres, te irías de la fiesta ahora mismo. Sorry about the shaking. So, si, if only te you darías cuenta. It's kind of like, hypothetically, if you were to finally figure out, so this word means to figure out, or this term, it means to figure out. Dar cuenta, figure it out. ¿Cuándo te vas a dar cuenta of how undesirable you are? You would leave the party right now. So write this down in your notebook. And let me just go over this word with you right here. This one that I've included in the sentence, irías, okay? So ir, as many of you know, is to go, to leave. Not if you're talking about carry out, so, or like take out. If you're talking about takeout, you could say para llevar, to take. But when we're talking about this word ir, it means to go, to leave. Irías, it means you would leave. So hypothetically, you would leave. Si solo supiera de lo deseable que eres. Si solo supiera de lo deseable que eres, te irías ahora. Se fue means they left. Irás, it means will you go? The next word, which I remember I was, right before I started this YouTube channel, I had a boyfriend. He was more of a man friend really, but he was literally like close to 50 years old. And when we were at a restaurant together, there was a server. We were at a sushi restaurant, and this server, after we were done eating our sushi, he came and he left the bill on my side. Like, he literally like dropped the bill on my side. I guess he thought that I was like this man's daughter, but I was really dating him. So he thought, you know, I'm paying as his child, as his daughter, I'm paying. But he told me this. El tipo dejó la cuenta en tu lado de la mesa. ¿Será morón? The type left the bill on your side of the table. Is he an idiot? Is he a moron? I remember that made me laugh a lot. My glasses are so fogged up. These are supposed to be waterproof. Pronounce it with me. Okay. El tipo. If we were to say the server or the waiter, we would say this. El mesero. El mesero. And if it's a female, we could just replace this with an A at the end. So, el mesero or la mesera dejó la cuenta en tu lado, on your side of the table, de la mesa. Será morón. Será morón. Is he a moron? And as many of you are familiar with, this word right here means to be. But when we are saying this, será, it could mean will he be, or like would he be Is he a moron? Será morón? Será morón. Será idiota. Será idiota. Idiota. And then a word for idiot, or a sentence for idiot. Rayos. ¿Cuántos idiotas hay en los comentarios de YouTube? And this is something I catch myself saying often, or less often now. I'm used to it. God damn it, there's still some fog on there. So, rayos. Some of you probably see this word ray, and this is referring to like a bolt, like a lightning bolt, thunder, but in this instance we're using it kind of as like a term for being surprised. So it's kind of like damn, or yeah, it's kind of like saying damn, which this is another word, carajo, but this is just like an expression of surprise. So rayos. ¿Cuántos idiotas hay en los comentarios de YouTube? With the way that we form sentences in Spanish, we could say ¿Cuántos idiotas hay? It's almost kind of the same thing as saying there are so many idiots. So even though the direct translation of this is how many idiots are there, it's almost like structured like a question in English. In Spanish, when we say something like this is technically a way of saying like there are so many of a certain thing. The next word is going to be torpe. This word just makes me laugh because one time I was with my mother in the car back when I lived in Miami. I must have been like a teenager, or in my 20s, in my early 20s, and we turned on the radio and there was this woman, and she always says like she always says these like things that really don't make any sense, just to like fill the airtime. And my mum, she said something really funny one time, because we had been listening to her for years but we never really said anything about her, and it just made me burst out laughing when she said this. So cada vez que enciendo la radio, esa mujer está diciendo torpezas. So, repeat after me. Cada vez que enciendo la radio, esa mujer está diciendo torpezas. Una torpeza is it's kind of a word for a clumsy action or something clumsy, okay? So every time that I turn on the radio, this woman is saying ridiculous things, meaningless things, torpezas, dumb things. And let's break down a term in that sentence. So cada vez is a direct translation for every time, or each time. It's more of a direct translation for this, honestly, each time, cada. Because every time would be more like todas las veces. But this is more used for each time. Each time I turn on the radio, that woman is saying a bunch of dumb shit. It doesn't make any sense. The next word we will focus on is estúpido, and I think all of you know what that word means. Estúpido. Given that the word stupid is literally sandwiched in between the first and last letter. A sentence. Deja de ser tan estúpido. Ya tú sabes que te amo. Solo sos inseguro y no te amas a ti mismo. So this sentence, it means stop being so stupid. You already know that I love you. You are just insecure and you don't love yourself. Pronounce it with me. Deja de ser tan estúpido. Ya tú sabes que te amo. Solo sos inseguro y no te amas a ti mismo. This word right here, I just featured it because this is a word that's used a lot by Argentinians, Uruguayans, and I will show you right now what it means. So, sos, vos, you are, you. Sos muy impaciente. Sos muy impaciente. You are very impatient. You are very impatient. Excuse my chicken scratch. I should really improve that. Or it is. If we were to replace that with like common Spanish vernacular, it is sos. They are interchangeable. Vos, it is. Vos eres muy caprichoso. Repeat after me. Vos eres muy caprichoso. You are very capricious. Or vos sos. I made a little mistake there. Because if we're in this world, right, if we're in Uruguay, if we're in Argentina, we're going to use vos y sos. So vos sos, you are very capricious. The next word we can do the sentences that I came up with for this video are just cracking me up. So ese imbécile, and this is where we will put the tilde because this is where we're putting emphasis, okay, when we're pronouncing it. Imbécile, imbécile. So in Spanish we know this word to be imbecile, imbecile. But in English we know this word to be imbecile. In Spanish, remember, this is not imbécile, imbécile. This is imbécile, imbécile, imbecile. Ese imbécil desamparado me escupió en la cara cuando le di 5 pesos. 5 pesos. So the translation of this sentence is that homeless imbecile, so desamparado, this word, desamparado, it means homeless, homeless. So if we were to take off this prefix, it would mean with a home, with somewhere to stay. This homeless imbecile spit on my face. Me escupió en la cara. Me escupió en la cara. Me escupió en la cara cuando le di 5 pesos. This homeless imbecile spit in my face when I gave him $5. Let's do this word, escupir, escupió, escupe. These are just forms of this word. So this means to spit. This is the past tense of spit, and this is a command to spit. So if I'm telling you escupe, you need to spit. If I'm telling you escupió, it means he or she spat. If I am telling you, or if I'm saying tengo que escupir to the dentist, it means I need a cup to spit in. Tengo que escupir. Tengo que escupir. You're doing an excellent job. Escupiendo is another one. Let me write escupiendo. Spitting. Él está escupiendo el veneno. Él está escupiendo el veneno. He is spitting out the venom, or he's spitting out the poison. I'm getting so shiny. Let's move on to the next one. I've had stories where I've given homeless people something and they've gotten like offended and they've told me to like fuck off basically. This word is pretty funny. It's used very often to describe like a dirty person. It's got pretty much the same meaning as in English. So cerdo is the word for pig, or another word that you will hear is cochino. Now some people think this word just means dirty. It does mean dirty, but it also means pig. Un cochino is a pig, but it also means a dirty guy, a dirty person. Estoy hecho un cochino con paquetes de postres y latas de soda o de gaseosa. We'll say the Spanish word for it, gaseosa, the proper one. Vacías a mi alrededor. Estoy hecho un cochino con paquetes de postres y latas de gaseosa vacías a mi alrededor. A mi alrededor. Estoy hecho is so estoy, it means I am. Hecho is made, so I am made. I have made myself out to be, yeah, I guess that's kind of like it. So I've made myself out to be a damn pig. A pig with packages of desserts and cans of soda, like empty cans of soda, empty packages of desserts all around me. I'm laying in my bed. I've made myself out to be a pig with empty packages of desserts, empty cans of soda all around me, all around me. Qué cochina esa mujer. Se estaba tirando peos en el medio de la tienda llena de gente. How nasty is that woman? Esa mujer. That woman. She was farting in the middle of the store full of people. How nasty, that woman. She was farting in the middle of the store full of people. Que cochina esa mujer. Se estaba tirando peos en el medio de la tienda llena de gente. Now let's break a term from that sentence down. I think we will do tirando peos. And there's just, the direct translation of this is throwing farts. That's literally the translation of this term, throwing farts. Tirando peos. Se tiró un peo. Se tiró un peo. So the past tense of this word, throw. Se tiró un peo. He threw a fart. He farted. Next word is going to be we're going to do the word rata. word means rat. Rat, una rata. And it is a derogatory term, of course. I mean, we could call people in English rats as a joke, and it is definitely meant to be a negative type of word. So I could say to someone, and I actually have responded this in a comment under a video that I made. I don't even remember half of the negative comments that I decided to engage in, but I remember a lot of my responses. This person was saying like my tattoos are just disgusting or something, and I responded to him with this. No me importa lo que opina una rata como tú. And this is obviously so petty. I don't recommend engaging in any comment wars on YouTube, because they will actually like restrict your comments. Unfortunately, I think my comments aren't really visible because I notice that they only get likes and like replies from the creators. Other people, it seems like they cannot look at my comments because YouTube has decided to like, and I'm talking about other people's videos, I'm not talking about under my own. Don't respond to people's comments if they're being weird, because YouTube will literally like not allow your comments to be as visible. No me importa. No me importa. This is a term that means I don't care. No me importa. I don't care. I don't care. No me da un carajo. No me da un carajo. That means I don't give a damn. So, no me importa lo que opina una rata como tú. And we're going to put the tilde right there, right here above this, because we're talking about you. If we were to be talking about this word your, then we would not put the tilde. But because we're talking about the word you, we need to put the tilde. Because we actually are talking about this word you, we are going to need to put this accent mark or tilde, as we call it. I don't care of the opinion, or okay, when we say the word opina, it means what you think, what you believe. Opinas, ¿qué opinas? It means what do you think? What do you think about this? What's your opinion on this? ¿Qué opinas? ¿Qué opinas? I don't care what a person like you or what a rat like you thinks about me. And rats are, of course, I mean, we associate them with sewers, we associate them with, I mean, they're considered pests, they're considered dirty, they are indesirable. Rats are undesirable, which is why it's an insult. Okay. And puerco is another one. No seas puerco, cierra la boca mientras que estés masticando. Don't be a pig. Close your mouth while you are chewing, while you are masticating. I learned that that's a word in English, masticating. While you are masticating, don't be a damn pig and close your mouth while you're chewing. Close your mouth while you're chewing. No seas puerco. Cierra la boca mientras estés masticando. Mientras estés masticando. Mientras estés masticando. Okay. no entiendo por qué apareces a mi apartamento tan apestoso. Dúchate en el gimnasio. Esto no es un hotel y no te puedes bañar aquí. No entiendo. I don't understand. Why? ¿Por qué apareces? You appear in my apartment so stinky, tan apestoso. Dúchate. Take a shower. If you want to think about it, like, okay, in French, a douche is not the same thing as in English. A douche is a shower. So kind of think of it like that. Dúchate. It's like a Latin root to the word. So dúchate is a command. I'm telling you to shower. You could also say bañate. Take a bath. Take a bath. En el gimnasio. Gimnasio. En el gimnasio. Take a shower at the gym. Esto no es un hotel. This is not a hotel. And you cannot take a bath here. You cannot bathe here. No entiendo por qué apareces a mi apartamento tan apestoso. Dúchate en el gimnasio. Esto no es un hotel y no puedes bañarte o no te puedes bañar aquí. No entiendo por qué apareces a mi apartamento tan apestoso. Dúchate en el gimnasio. Esto no es un hotel y no te puedes bañar aquí. The next word is going to be one that I really enjoy. This is the word for sinister. Siniestro is the word that we're going to be covering in this sentence. And what's interesting is that this word, it starts with the word sin, right? So we know that a sin is evil behavior. It's behavior that's not acceptable, okay? And we've got that same Latin root in this word, but it's funny because the word for sin in Spanish is actually this. It is pecado, and to sin is pecar. Pecar. Te ligaste con un tipo que me parece bastante siniestro. Hablas de él como si fuera un ángel, pero es evidente que está envidioso y se quiere robar tu destino. Te ligaste con un tipo que me parece bastante siniestro. Hablas de él como si fuera un ángel, pero es evidente que está envidioso y se quiere robar tu destino. Real shit, y'all. Real shit. This is actually part of why I was gone. I was dealing with some trauma from a hater. Who he hated my YouTube channel. He hated like everything that I did online. It wasn't just the OF and stuff like that. It was literally the fact that I had you guys, you know, my ladies and gentlemen, in my comment section appreciating my work, the fact that I had something like meaningful that I was creating in my life. This person, he wanted to swap destinies. So te ligaste, you got with un tipo, you got with a type, you got with a guy, with a dude who seems to be very sinister, bastante siniestro. Hablas de él como si fuera un ángel, pero es evidente, it is obvious, it is evident que está envidioso y se quiere robar tu destino. You got with a type or a guy who seems very sinister. You speak about him as if he was an angel, as if he were an angel, but it is evident that he is envious and he wants to swap destinies or rob your destiny from you. Que se quiere robar tu destino. Quiere un intercambio de destinos. Intercambio de destinos. This person wanted to like swap lives with me, I think. It's just people who don't have any like meaningful hobbies. They are very insecure because I think our feeling of worth, it really comes from community feeling and believing that we're contributing something, right? Even if it's not particularly like important to everyone, right? That we're contributing something meaningful to us, to the world, okay? And there are people who, I mean, they live their entire lives without creating anything that is meaningful to them because they don't have an identity, they don't have a personality. But anyway, let's keep going. Las mujeres que invitaste a la fiesta tienen muy malos modales. This means bad manners. Bad manners. Una se estuvo rascando el trasero delante de todo el mundo. Y la otra simplemente fue muy grosera. So this is another rude word. I guess it's not really rude because you're calling someone rude when you say grosera or grosero. I will isolate the word in a moment and I will break it down for you, but the women that you invited to the party have very bad manners. One of them was scratching her behind in front of the whole world or in front of everyone. In Spanish, sometimes we will say the whole world, todo el mundo, but it just means in front of everybody who's around. Y la otra simplemente, the other one simply was very rude. Okay, so las mujeres que invitaste a la fiesta tienen muy malos modales. Una se estuvo rascando el trasero delante de todo el mundo y la otra simplemente fue muy grosera. So the women that you invited to the party have very bad manners. One of them was scratching her behind in front of everyone, and the other one was simply very rude. Another way that we can use that word, no seas grosero. Saluda a la muchacha. This is a word that I would hear a lot growing up when little boys, they would be too shy. I was pretty shy too as a little girl. I didn't want to say hi to everyone, but I would say something like, don't be rude, say hello to the young lady. So muchacha means young lady. If we were to say señora, this is more like ma'am. I really don't like to be called ma'am. I'm a miss. I still believe that I'm in my miss years. I am not a ma'am. So muchacha, señora. Muchacha, señora. No seas grosero. Saluda a la muchacha. Don't be rude. Say hi to the young lady. Greet the young lady.